Right there in the middle of the damn field. He says he wants to put that thing together. Him and his buggy ideas. And so me, I says, how the hell are you going to get it down to the water? But he just focuses me out, sweeping the blue, his eyes rolling like they do when he gets hit on some new lunatic notion. And he says, not to worry none about that. Just would I help him, for God's sake, and because he don't know how he can get it done in time otherwise. And though you'd have to be loonier than him to say yes, I says I will, of course. I always would. Crazy as my brother is, I've done little else since I was born. And my wife, she says, I can't figure it out. I can't see why you always have to be babying that old fool. He ain't never done nothing for you, God knows, and you got enough to do here. Fields need plowing. It's a bad enough year already, my God, and now that red-eyed brother of yours winging around like a damn cloud and not knowing what in the world he's doing, building a damn boat in the country. My God, what next? You're a damn fool, I tell you. But packs me some sandwiches just the same, and some sandwiches for my brother. Lord knows his wife don't have no truck with him no more. Says he can go starve for all she cares. She's fed up ever since the time he made her sit out on a hillside for 3 whole days, rain and everything, because he said she'd see God, and she didn't see nothing. And in fact, she liked to die from hunger, nothing but berries. And his boys, too, they ain't so bright neither, but at least they come to help him out with his damn boat, so it ain't just the two of us, thank God for that. And it ain't no goddamn fishing boat he wants to put up neither. In fact, it's the biggest damn thing I ever heard of, and for weeks, I'm telling you, we ain't doing nothing but cutting down pine trees and hauling them out to his field, which is really pretty high up on a hill, and my God, that's work, let me tell you. And my wife, she sighs and says, I'm crazy, really crazy. And her 4 months with a child and trying to do my work, and hers too, and still when I come home from hauling timbers around all day, she's got enough left to rub my shoulders and the small of my back and fix a hot meal, her long black hair pulled to a knot behind her head and hanging marvelously down her back, her eyes gentle but very tired, my God. And I says to my brother, I says, look, I got a lot of work to do, buddy. You'll have to finish this idiot thing yourself. I want to help you all I can. You know that. But he looks off and says, don't matter none, your work. And I says, the hell it don't. How you think me and my wife are going to eat? I mean, where do you think this food comes from you've been putting away, man? You can't eat this goddamn boat out here ready to rot in that bastard sun. And he just sighs long and says, no, it just don't matter, and sits him down on a rock, kind of tired-like, and stares off, and looks like he might even, for God's sake, cry. And so I go back to bringing wood up to him, and he's already started on the keel and frame. God knows how he ever found out how to build a damn boat, lost in his fog where he is. Lord, he was 20 when I was born, and the first thing I remember was having to lead him round so he didn't get kicked by a damn mule. Him who couldn't ever do nothing in a normal way, just a huge, oversized, fuzzy-faced boy. So anyway, I take to getting up a few hours earlier every day to do my farming. My wife apt to lose the baby if she should keep pulling around like she was doing. Then I go to work on the boat till sundown, and on. The day's hot and dry, and my wife's keeping good food in me, or else I'd have dropped sure. And no matter what I say to try to get out of it, my brother, he says, you come and help now, the rest don't matter. And we just keep hammering away. And my God, the damn thing's big enough for 100 people. And at least it's a place to live in. And not too bad at that. At least it's good for something. But my wife, she just sighs and says no good will come of it, and runs her hands through my hair. But she don't ask me to stop helping no more, because she knows it won't do no good. And she's kind of turned into herself now these days and getting herself all ready. And still, we keep working on that damn thing, that damn boat, and the days pass. And my brother, he says, we got to work harder. We ain't got much time. And from time to time, he gets a couple of neighbors to come over and give a hand, them sucked in by the size and novelty of the thing, making jokes some, but they don't stay around more than a day or two, and they go away, shaking their heads and swearing under their breath and disgusted they got weaseled into the thing in the first place. And me, I only get about half my place planted and see to my stock as much as I can. My wife, she takes more care of them than I can. But at least we won't starve, we say, if we just get some rain. And finally we get the damn thing done. Oh, finished, by God. And we cover it in and out with pitch and put a kind of fancy roof on it. And I come home on that last day, and I ain't never going back. Ain't never going to let him talk me into nothing again. And I'm smelling of tar, and my wife, she cries and cries, and I says to her not to worry no more. I'll be home all the time. And me, I'm crying a little too, though she don't notice, just thinking how she's had it so lonely and hard and all. And for one old day, I just sleep the whole damn day. And the rest of the week, I work around the farm. And one day I get an idea. And I go over to my brother's place and get some pieces of wood left over. And what do you know? They're all living on that damn boat there in the middle of nowhere. Him and his boys and some women. And my brother's wife, she's there too, but she's madder than hell. And carping at him to get out of that damn boat and come home. And he says she's got just one more day, and then he's going to drug her on a boat. But he don't say it like a threat or nothing, more like a fact, a plain fact. Tomorrow he's going to drug her on the boat. Well, I ain't one to get mixed up in domestic quarrels, God knows, so I grab up the wood and beat it back to my farm. And that evening, I make a little cradle, a kind of fancy one with little animal figures cut in it and polished down. And after supper, I give it to my wife as a surprise, and she cries and holds me tight and says, "Don't never go away again, and stay close by her and all." And I feel so damn good and warm about it all, and glad the boat thing is over. We get out a little wine, and we decide the baby's name is going to be either Nathaniel or Anna. And so we drink an extra cup to Nathaniel's health, and we laugh and we sigh, and drink one to Anna. And my wife, she gently fingers the little animal figures and says they're beautiful, and really they ain't. I ain't much good at that sort of thing, but I know what she means. And then she says, "Where'd you get the wood?" And I says, "It's left over from the boat." And she don't say nothing for a moment, and then she says, "You been over there again today?" And I says, "Yes, just to get the wood." And she says, "What's he doing now he's got the boat done?" And I says, "Funny thing there. They're all living in the damn thing, except the old lady. She's over there hollering at him how he's getting senile, and where does he think he's sailing to, and how if he ain't afraid of running into an octopus on the way, he ought to get back home, and him saying she's a nut, there ain't no water, and her saying that's what she's been telling him for 6 months." And my wife laughs, and it's the happiest laugh I've heard from her in half a year. I laugh, and we both have another cup of wine, and my wife, she says, "So he's just living on that big thing all by himself?" And I says, "No, he's got his boys on there, and some young women, or maybe wives of the boys or something, I don't know. I ain't never seen them before. And all kinds of damn animals and birds and things. I never seen the likes." And my wife, she says, "Animals? What animals?" And I says, "Oh, all kinds, I don't know. Whole damn menagerie all cluttering and stinking up the boat. God, what a mess." And my wife laughs again, and she's a little silly with the wine. And she says, "I bet he ain't got no pigs." "Oh, yes, I seen 'em," I says. And we laugh, thinking about pigs rooting around in that big tub. And she says, "I bet he ain't got no jackdaws." And I said, "Yes, I seen a couple of them too, or mostly I heard 'em. You couldn't hardly hear nothing else." And we laugh again, thinking about them crows and his old lady and the pigs and all. And my wife, she says, "I know what he ain't got. I bet he ain't got no lice." And we both laugh like crazy. And when I can, I says, "Oh, yes, he does, unless he's took a bath." And we both laugh till we're crying. And we finish off the wine, and my wife says, "Look now, I know what he ain't got. He ain't got no termites." And I says, "You're right. I don't recollect no termites. Maybe we ought to make him a present." And my wife, she holds me close, quiet all of a sudden, and says, "He's really moving. Nathaniel's really moving." And she puts my hand down on her round belly, and the little fellow's kicking up a terrific storm. And I says, kind of anxious, does it hurt? Do you think that?" "No," she says. "It's good," she says. And so I says, with my hand on her belly, "Here's to you, Nathaniel." And we drain what's left in the bottom of our cups, and the next day we wake up in each other's arms, and it's raining, and thank God, we say. And since it's raining real good, we stay inside and do things round the place, and we're happy, because the rain has come just in time, and in the evening things smell green and fresh and delicious, and it's still raining a little, but not too hard, so I decided to take a walk. And I wander over by my brother's place, thinking I'll ask him if he'd like to take on some pet termites to go with his collection. And there, by God, is his wife on the boat. And I don't know if he drug her on, or if she just finally come by herself. But she ain't saying nothing, which is damn unusual. And the boys, they ain't saying nothing neither. And my brother, he ain't saying nothing. They're just all standing up there on top and gazing off. And I holler up at 'em, "Nice rain, ain't it?" My brother, he looks down at me standing there in the rain, and still he don't say nothing. But he raises his hand kind of funny-like and then puts it back on the rail. And I decide not to say nothing about the termites, and it's starting to rain a little harder again, so I turn away and go back home. And I tell my wife about what happened, and my wife, she just laughs and says, they're all crazy. He's finally got 'em all crazy. And she's cooked me up a special pastry with fresh meat, and so we forget about them. But by God, the next day the rain's still coming down harder than ever, and water's beginning to stand around in places. And after a week of rain, I can see the crops is pretty well ruined, and I'm having trouble keeping my stock fed. And my wife, she's crying and talking about our bad luck that we might as well have built a damn boat as plant all them crops, and still we don't figure things out. I mean, it just don't come to our minds, not even when the rain keeps spilling down like an ocean dumped upside down. And now water's beginning to stand around in big pools, really big ones, and water up to the ankles round the house and leaking in. And pretty soon the whole damn house is getting full of water. And I keep saying, maybe we ought to go use my brother's boat till this blows over. But my wife, she says, never. And then she starts crying again. So finally I says to her, we can't be so proud. I'll go ask him. And so I set out in the storm, and I can hardly see where I'm going. And I slip up to my neck in places, and finally I get to where the boat is, and I holler up. And my brother, he comes out, and he looks down at where I am, and he don't say nothing, that bastard. He just looks at me. And I shout up at him. I says, hey, is it all right for me and my wife to come over till this thing blows over? And still he don't say a damn word. He just raises his hand in that same silly-ass way, and I holler, hey, you stupid son of a bitch. I'm soaking wet, God damn it, and my house is full of water, and my wife, she's about to have a kid. She's apt to get sick, all wet and cold to the bone, and all I'm asking you, and right then, right while I'm still talking, he turns around and he goes back in the boat. And I can't hardly believe it, me, his brother. But he don't come back out, and I push up under the boat, and I beat on it with my fists and scream at him and call him every name I can think up, and I shout for his boys and for his wife, for anybody inside. Nobody comes out. God damn you, I cry out at the top of my lungs, and half sobbing and sick, and then feeling too beat out to do anything more, I turn around and head back for home. But the rain is thundering down like mad now, and in places I gotta swim, and I can't make it no further, and I recollect a hill nearby, and I head for it, and when I get to it, I climb up on top of it, and it feels good to be on land again, even if it is soggy and greasy, and I vomit and retch there a while and move farther up, and the next thing I know, I'm waking up, the rain still in my face, and the water halfway up the hill towards me, and I look out, and I can see my brother's boat just floating, and I wave at it, but I don't see nobody wave back. And then I quick look out towards my own place, and all I can see is the top of it. And of a sudden I'm scared about my wife, and I go tearing for the house, swimming most of the way and crying and shouting, and the rain still coming down like crazy. And so now I'm back here on the hill again, what little there is left of it. And I'm figuring maybe I got a day left if the rain keeps coming and it don't show no signs of stopping. And I can't see my brother's boat no more, gone, just water. How did he know? That bastard. And yet I gotta hand it to him. It's not hard to see who's crazy around here. Can't see my house no more. I just left my wife inside where I found her. I couldn't hardly stand to look at her the way she was.